land of milk and honey? Good, a pox upon you. I'll show you what's coming. And if you think there's no direct relationship between the loss of a connection to, let's say, if you even if you want to say God is a universal truth or a universal power, once this nation turned from that universal truth or that universal power, which some define as God, the nation started to implode. That is one way to look at the degenerate plant that we have become, which is another phrase from Jeremiah, the degenerate plant, which is 2:21 for those of you who read, and it goes like this. Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? For though thou wash thee with nitre, and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord God. How can you say, I am not defiled? I have not gone after the Baalim. See thy way into the valley. Know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift young camel traversing a ways. And on and on and on. So if you think that the degeneracy of America today is something unique to mankind, you are mistaken. It happened in ancient Israel, and as a result, the nation fell. And so if you think that this nation can still be saved, you may be right, but it can only be saved by a resurgence of religion, in my opinion. Only religion can save America. I know how far afield that sounds. I've been a little off the wall. I've been having my fun. And you think I'm a wild, crazy guy, doesn't believe in anything. But the fact of the matter is I do very much. And I know very much about the fact that without he up there, my friends, I wouldn't be down here in front of you on this microphone. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Your Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust for tangible assets, gold and silver. Call 800-BUICOIN. What a road this has been. My God, what a week. One of the roughest weeks of my life is coming to an end, thank God. Not only did I have to launch the new book and get you to go out and look at it, and many of you have and you love it, thank you. I'm finishing another nonfiction book. I am killing myself with the scholarships, which have to be announced by July 4th. I have about 5 other major projects going on and a daily show, and I'm struggling with allergies and a few other minor ailments. I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm alive, so this is what you do when you're alive. I mean, I took it on. No one asked me to take these things on. I could just be golfing and sleeping and drinking and eating like the average white guy over 50 who works all his life. God bless him. That's what he wants. I don't understand that. I never understood working for retirement. I don't get it. You know, success is a stale finale. You know who wrote that? I forget already. It used to be one of my favorite quotes. Eugene O'Neill in Long Day's Journey into Night. He wrote, success is a stale finale. Only the struggle is the success. I've never forgotten that. I learned that when I was 19, 20 and reading all of the great American writers. And I stumbled upon Eugene O'Neill, and I never forgot that one. Success is a stale finale, which is true. Ask anybody, why do you think anyone who's creative is on to the next project while you just discovered the one they produced, let's say, 3 months ago or whatever? Whether it be a movie or a book or a song, they're not sitting there on their laurels saying, I wrote that song in 1951 or referring to something they did in 1995. They're on to the next thing because success is a stale finale. Or you could put it another way, which is like a Rolling Stone gathers no moss, if you want to put it in another homily, you know, a simplistic statement. You have to keep moving forward in life. You know, in life, either you're moving forward or you're dead. There's no such thing as sitting still. I don't believe you can just sit still. Either you're moving forward or you're dead in the water. It's like a boat itself. And once you're dead in the water and becalmed, I mean, what kind of life is that? So it's a long way of saying thank you very much, because without the radio audience, none of this would have happened, to be frank with you. I started out as really a poet, naturalist poet. There's no audience for that kind of stuff. It's all marginal. And I wrote for years in the field of health. I had quite a successful career as a writer of books of health and nutrition and stuff. And these books are considered classics by people with brains who realized I was 30, 40 years ahead of my time with many of them. I don't see it telling you about them. They're out there for people to read. And the people who are jealous of me mock that as if writing about nutrition and vitamins was something bad. That's the little people, the Lilliputians do a thing like that. And I've done other things, so I keep trying to move forward. But this eventually all clocks, the pendulum moves to the center, and it doesn't want to swing left or right anymore. You know, I see an old man, a nice old man across the street from me. I moved into this neighborhood 10 years ago. He was an elderly gentleman when I moved in. He was retired, a nice old German gentleman, very nice man. We would say hello. I don't know him personally. And I see him in the street now. He must be in his 90s, moving more slowly, getting more gaunt. And I look at him and I say to myself, hey, if you're lucky, that's what you'll look like. That's what you're going to look like. So that's what you got to look forward to. What do you think? You're going to live healthfully and happily till 120 like the age of Mo? No one does. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not coming to any conclusion. I'm just thanking you for being my loyal audience and for making this radio show what it is. And it's been quite a road, by the way, with a lot of ups and downs. And I have been down a number of times, and I've come back up again. And as they say, like a phoenix, I rise from the ashes. But it goes back to what I said to you before the break. Without him, without God, I wouldn't be here at all. And anyone who doesn't understand that, you're really missing something. Because that energy, that eternal energy that has catapulted mankind from the Stone Age to the present is what can save this country. Nothing else can save us. And this is my way of saying to God, thank you for everything on the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning, the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Well, as we cruise into hour number 3, the Boston Marathon bomber Tsarnaev was sentenced to death. That's the good news. But you know and I know the psycho-liberals are going to keep him alive for 50 years. He'll be an old gray-haired man. You'll be long dead before this guy is ever executed. We live in a sick nation, and it's getting sicker because what I'm about to play for you will prove beyond a reasonable doubt how sick the country is. Here is the U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Carmen Ortiz, who was nominated by none other than President Barack Obama as the United States Attorney for the District of Massachusetts. We're told she's the first Hispanic and the first woman to represent Massachusetts as U.S. Attorney. But listen to the twisted propaganda right after the announcement that he was given the death penalty.
The trial of this case has showcased an important American ideal, that even the worst of the worst deserve a fair trial and due process of law. Today, the jury has spoken, and Johar Tsarnaev will pay with his life for his crimes. Make no mistake, the defendant claimed to be acting on behalf of all Muslims. This was not a religious crime.
How do you
know? And
it
certainly does not reflect true Muslim beliefs.
Oh, please, get out of here. You stink to high heaven. Hey, Carmen, go back to Adelphi University and restudy your PC manual. Are you kidding me? He is a guy who said he did it in the name of Islam. His brother did it in the name of Islam. His mother said they did it in the name of Islam. And this low-grade, low-brow idiot appointed by Obama simply because she's a woman and Hispanic tells us, no, he didn't do it because he's a Muslim. Why must they do this? Why must the propaganda ministry put this out every time a Muslim is caught killing somebody? We have to listen to this crap. The president himself is a nut like this, who says that they're not Islamic. Well, ask them if they're Islamic or not. They'll be happy to tell you they are. I am outraged by this. No, Carmen Ortiz, you're showing once again what an embarrassment affirmative action really is. Period. End of story. I stick by those words. Let's go to the callers. Eric on WJR. Agree or disagree? This is an outrage.
Well, yeah, Mike, it's pretty ridiculous. I think I was going to answer the question as far as why the liberals defend this guy is basically that they see people only as lucky and unlucky. So in their mind, the criminals that are captured and convicted are just unlucky and a product of their circumstance, and that's it.
Yeah, but he's not a Muslim, according to the prosecutor.
Well, right. He can't, well, yeah, but I mean, if he was a Muslim, then
the liberals' mind is so warped that if a person says they're a Muslim and they did this in the name of Allah, They say he's not a real Muslim. How can they know that? How can they know what's in his heart? What, are they capable of looking inside his heart and saying he really isn't a Muslim? What was he? A Christian, a Jew, a Hindu, a Buddhist, or an agnostic? What was he? He said he was a Muslim. So what are they telling us he's not a Muslim?
Well, they don't want him to be acting on his Muslim faith, because then that's going to ostracize all Muslims, and that would just...
Yeah, well, I got news for you. The more they bend over backwards to tell us the obvious lie, the more we're going to understand what a lie it is. It's that simple. Thanks for the call. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it all. Now, the story from earlier is that George Staphylococcus, I said, is too glib to fail, and I'll stick to that. They're not firing him. That's my guess. I don't know what they'll do, but my guess is, even though he gave money to the Clinton Foundation and then he hammered the author of the book exposing the Clinton Foundation, and he didn't disclose a full truth in his on-air apology, he's too glib to fail. Staphylococcus will survive it. But he's not the only one doing it, for God's sakes. Everyone on the media, has got a connection to a party of one kind or another. It's that simple. 855-400-7282. Let's see what else is in the news. Sarnoff now. He's not dying. Boston Marathon bomber sentenced to death. I would say 30 to 40 years you'll be hearing about Sarnoff. The very same liberals who are quick to say that a woman has a right to terminate an abortion at 12 weeks or 16 weeks, or maybe even after the baby's born if it has the wrong color eyes, and they believe in euthanasia for 12-year-olds. Why then do they defend the worst people on the planet as though they're saints? Why? Answer. There's only one answer. Liberalism is a distortion of the optic chiasma. They see everything backwards. That's why the prosecutor will get up and say, even though he's obviously a Muslim, and he did it in the name of Allah, and his brother did, no, he's not a Muslim. All of a sudden, he's not a Muslim. She stole his religion from him. In a way, she's actually insulting him. I mean, give the guy the dignity of his religion, and give him the dignity of his crime, and give him the dignity of his death. He did it in the name of his religion. Don't tell us what he didn't say. He said he did it in the name of his religion. I'm outraged by it. I want you to listen to it again. This is not false outrage. This is real outrage. This just shows you what affirmative action is doing to the legal profession, that Obama would choose you can listen to her rhetoric, and what you hear are the simplistic phrases of a Hallmark greeting card. A Hallmark greeting card would have more depth than this U.S. attorney. Listen to it again.
The trial of this case has showcased an important American ideal, that even the worst of the worst deserve a fair trial and due process of law. Today the jury has spoken, and Johar Tsarnaev will pay with his life for his crimes. Make no mistake, the defendant claimed to be acting on behalf of all Muslims. This was not a religious crime, and it certainly does not reflect true Muslim beliefs.
Yeah, all right, you got the walking papers, the marching orders from Barack Obama. That's Carmen Ortiz, nominated by Barack Hussein Obama as the U.S. Attorney for District of Mass. First Hispanic, first woman, yeah, hooray. She oversees the work of more than 200 attorneys. Can you believe this? This woman is in charge of 200 attorneys. What does that tell you about the legal profession? What does that tell you about the bench that Obama has established for the courts in this nation? If this is the best, and by the way, there are brilliant Hispanic attorneys. There are brilliant Hispanic women attorneys. There are brilliant Hispanic women judges, by the way, who are extremely fair. And I have an awful lot of experience with one, by the way, who judged my case, and she was appointed by Obama, but she's a brilliant jurist. This one is a dummy, in plain English. You can listen to her rhetoric and know she never was entitled to this kind of job. Unbelievable. FTL. Phil, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as aggravated and as upset and outraged as you are, Michael. This is just a nonstop barrage of nonsense. I mean,
it's nonsense. What do you mean it's not in the name of Muslims? He claimed it was.
Of course it is. And they've been like, first of all, why is a public servant, why do they feel compelled to make this statement on behalf of a religion? What is that all about? Okay? It's obvious what this is. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people, Muslims, who either believe that this is the way it is or who silently sympathize or something, and it's just outrageous. Outrageous.
I feel the same way, Phil. It's disgusting that at a time like this, when America finally saw justice, and we're not going to see him executed, but at least we had the knowledge that this piece of human trash got the death sentence. She has to now steal from that and give us a phony lecture about that it's not in Islam, nothing to do with Muslims. It has everything to do with it. What do you mean nothing to do with it? It has everything to do with it.
Now, the next thing that's really upsetting, it goes back to what happened in Texas. Nobody